Hey everyone, this is DW's Darius, and right now you're looking at my 350 gallon aquarium. So every time I show you guys this tank, I get questions about this one fish right here. This is Thanos, the male red devil. These fish are called red devils because they're notorious for being very aggressive, and yet for the most part mine is very peaceful living inside this tank with other cichlids. So today I want to share with you guys some tips on how you can lower aggression in your cichlid aquariums. Now this is going to be more so for New World cichlids, cichlids that come from South America, Central America, even West Africa, because these cichlids have unique personalities that require a little bit different care compared to your Old World cichlids. Now first off, if you're seeing this tank for the first time, I'll give you guys a rundown of all the fish in here. So the dominant male of the aquarium is the red devil cichlid, followed by my tiger oscar, then Cichlid lenticulata, the spotted face pike right here in the front. Next we have my Cichlid azul peacock bass. Then we have my Cichlid accelerus peacock bass. Then the flagtail Cichlidus underneath the peacock bass. We have two four-line pictus catfish, one right here and one on the opposite side of the tank. And lastly, in that driftwood you can see that white and black thing, that is the tail of my black ghost knifefish. And all these fish have been living in this aquarium with no problems. Of course, you do get a few bickerings back and forth, you do get a few chasing, but definitely nothing to worry about, nothing to stress out the fish too much. And this right here isn't even the most boastful tank when it comes to peacefulness. Previously in my 210, I used to have a male red devil, a male Midas. That alone is a miracle to be able to keep those two fish in the same tank without them killing each other. But I also had a female jaguar with them, a buddy Cophori tilapia cichlid with them, a tiger oscar, and also a chocolate cichlid, all living together for years with no problems. And for the most part, all my aquariums in the fish room, I don't have to worry about aggression because I do the steps necessary to just balance the tank when it comes to the hierarchy and just overall aggressive levels. So yeah, today I want to share with you guys 10 tips that can help you lower aggression in your cichlid aquariums. Okay, so the first tip for having a peaceful community of cichlids is to grow them out together from young, buy them as juveniles, and allow them all to grow up together. This definitely has a great effect on their overall aggression as adults. Now, of course, not everybody is able to do this. If you already have cichlids, of course, this doesn't apply to you. But let's say you plan on starting a cichlid tank, I highly recommend that you buy your cichlids all around the same age at juveniles and allow them to grow up together. Now, this is good because it allows them as juveniles to build a hierarchy. Every cichlid aquarium, they're going to build a hierarchy, and the thing is, as juveniles, they're not as strong as adults, they're not as aggressive, so you're not going to get as much damage when they do fight. Now they're going to build the hierarchy, and they're going to grow up with that hierarchy, and because of that, they're going to know who to mess with and who not to mess with. And that's just going to create a more peaceful environment. Now that's exactly what happened in this aquarium. All these fish grew up together. Naturally, the red devil was more aggressive. The Oscar, he's more aggressive now, but as a juvenile, he definitely was not aggressive. And because of that, they were able to establish this relationship. Everybody in the tank knows that the red devil is the most aggressive fish because they all grew up together. So that's one of the greatest things you could do in your cichlid aquarium. Allow the fish to grow up together. They're going to know who to mess with, who not to mess with. They're going to know just their place in an aquarium, and it's definitely going to be a lot easier for them to have that relationship and have that hierarchy. So the next tip, similar to the first tip, is whenever you add a new fish to your cichlid community, try to add it smaller than every other fish in the tank. Now, of course, you don't want to add it small enough to be eaten, but you want to add it small enough so that it goes directly to the bottom of the hierarchy. That way, all the fish in the tank don't feel the need to prove themselves. If I was to go and buy an adult fish and put him in this tank, every fish will come to him and try to put this adult fish in his place. Whereas if I was to go and buy a smaller fish, around, let's say, 5 inches, small enough so that these bass won't be able to eat them, they won't feel the need to chase him around, they won't feel the need to fight him because he's obviously smaller. And eventually, as that fish matures, as he grows, he'll be able to fight each fish one by one to advance in the hierarchy if he wants to. The next tip for peacefulness in your cichlid aquarium is that when you plan your stock, when you choose fish, try not to choose fish that look too similar. When you have fish that are the same color or even sometimes of the same shape, they are competitive and that can cause aggression. I remember I tried to add my red spot severum to the same tank as my male red devil, and my male red devil attacked the severum, and to this date the red severum still has the scars on his body from when the red devil attacked him. So you definitely want to avoid trying to add fish that look similar, that share the same color. Same thing happened when I tried to add my male Fessy to this tank. You remember, he was non-stop chasing my peacock bass because they show that same goldish coloration. So fish that look the same, that show the same coloration, or even the same body pattern, you definitely want to avoid, because that's going to create more problems. Now, it can be done, especially if, like I said before, if you grow them out from juveniles. Remember, I told you guys that I kept a male red devil and a male Midas cichlid, which for the most part is impossible in most cases. I kept them together for months with no problems. So it's all a matter of just growing them out together and experimenting. But for the most part, as a beginner, I recommend that you don't try to keep cichlids that look similar. Next tip for lowering aggression inside your cichlid aquariums is with the way you decorate the tank. You want to make sure that you don't create any spaces in the tank that a fish could claim as his territory, because if a fish claims a territory, he will defend it, and that will be harmful for the other fish living inside that tank. A lot of people say just take out all decorations. While that does work, I definitely cannot enjoy a tank that's just empty. I gotta have some decorations to try to make the tank look a little natural. So what I did with this 350, I have these different pieces of driftwood, these different rocks, but you can see that there's no specific caves that one fish can claim. It's all open. All these caves that I have, they have multiple entrances, multiple exits. You can see this little cave over here. That side, the left side is open, the right side is open, the front is open, so no fish really feels secure in that spot. And all over, I have hideouts because I like providing hideouts for my fish. There are some small caves for my catfish, but no caves for the cichlids, because the cichlids are the ones that get possessive and try to claim it as their territory. So yeah, with cichlids, you want to make sure that you don't create any just spaces that they could claim for themselves. You want to make sure it's open. Once again, I like to provide a little bit of cover, but you want to make sure that it's not too tight, because if it's tight and just if it's too secure, the fish is going to claim it and defend it. Same thing down here in this native fish tank. I have my sunfish in here. They are known to be very aggressive, and you can see I have my driftwood in there. The driftwood creates a lot of dark spots. Whenever the fish are spooked, they all go back there. But the thing is, this driftwood, you can see there's an opening at the top, there's an opening at the middle, and there's an opening beneath it. So it's not really secure for one fish to claim it as his own territory. So that's what I try to do in my cichlid tanks. I gotta have my decorations, but the thing is, I try to keep it as open as possible, and because of that, for the most part, these cichlids don't try to claim it as their own territories. Next tip for a more peaceful cichlid aquarium is to consider tank size, because with these cichlids, size does matter. One of the things that a lot of people note is that with cichlids, they are very personable, they have some amazing personalities, but these fish can go through some major mood swings. This red devil himself, every now and then, it's not often, but it does happen when he's just pissed off and he's just attacking everything, every fish, every rock. He's just going crazy to everything. And because this tank is 8 feet long, it allows everybody to get out the way until he cools down, and then everything is back to normal. So you definitely want to have space in your aquarium appropriate for your cichlids. So what I recommend, if you do have a community of cichlids, for cichlids 8 inches or larger, you do want to have at least 6 feet of space. Now, of course, this depends on the type of cichlids. This depends on the number and the total number of cichlids in your aquarium. So space does matter. Make sure you have the appropriate tank size, and not just volume of water, but footprint of aquarium. I find that cichlids spend a lot of time swimming back and forth, front and back, compared to swimming up and down. So it's best if you could find longer, wider tanks versus taller aquariums, and that definitely will play a role with the overall aggression in an aquarium. Next thing you could do to lower aggression in your cichlid aquariums is dither fish. Now, you all know I just did a video about dither fish. I'm not going to go into great detail, but you can add fish to distract your cichlids, fish that break up the tension, break up territories, and reduce shyness. So add a group of fish that don't hide, that are very active, and that definitely can play a great role with aggression in your cichlid aquariums. I'm going to be honest with you guys, this next tip is definitely not my favorite, but it does work, so I will share with you guys, but I will say use with caution. So the next tip is to overstock your aquarium, your cichlid aquarium, to lower aggression. Now, we see this all the time with African cichlid tanks. People keep more than the recommended amount in their aquarium, and it does help reduce aggression simply by adding more bodies in an aquarium and just more individuals to show aggression towards. So we're going to use this tank as an example. Let's say the red devil was insane. He currently has 5 fish to beat upon. We're not going to include the catfish or the gold snipe because those are nocturnal, but he has the Oscar and these other fish that he could beat on. But if I was to go and add, let's say 20 more cichlids, now he has 25 fish to show aggression. That aggression becomes spread out, and these individual fish don't have to deal with too much. It's not as stressful for them. So that's the next technique. You can overstock your aquarium, and that can spread out aggression. But of course, you do have to do a lot more maintenance. You do have to stay on top of it, because otherwise you do make your tank very vulnerable for disease and parasites. So it definitely is a risky way to lower aggression, but I will say that it does work. Next tip to lower aggression with your cichlids is to prevent or to stop feeding live foods. So if you feed your fish live goldfish, you want to stop it, because those live goldfish, they really create a lot of excitement in an aquarium, a lot of hyperness, and that can create a lot of aggression. I know if I was to put live fish in this tank, the peacock bass, these fish are extremely fast. They would be taking fish out of these other fish's mouths, getting them before them. That would provoke fish like the Oscar, like the pike. This red devil, he doesn't eat live fish, so he really doesn't apply. But let's say I've had worms. These peacock bass, once again, they're very fast, they're very greedy. I try to feed a worm to this red devil over and over. The peacock bass keep taking it. Eventually he gets pissed off and he starts to attack them. So feeding live foods, it can be provokeful to some fish. It can cause more aggression. It can also just stir up more excitement with the fish and make them overall more aggressive. Same thing when it comes to raw fish and meaty foods. You just want to limit how much you do it, because that can make fish a little bit more excited and in return a little bit more aggressive. Tip number 9 to lower aggression inside your cichlid aquarium is to remove bullies from your aquarium. So in my fish room, I have a 0 tolerance level of bullies. Fish that I find to be bullies are given a second chance, a third chance, and then they're removed, and I don't want anything to do with them. Now, what's the difference between a bully and a tank boss? A tank boss fights when he has to. He goes around and he just makes sure everything is in check, and his goal and his job is to keep everything in balance. And then you have bullies. Bullies, they just like to fight. They like to cause problems. They like to start. And that's definitely something that you don't want in your aquarium. If you have a fish that's just unnecessarily chasing fish, that's just always harassing fish, even when the fish that they're attacking shows no signs of competing. Every now and then I catch this red devil fighting the Oscar, but it's because the Oscar likes to challenge him. One day this Oscar might get bigger than the red devil, and he might become tank boss, and the red devil knows it, so he fights him. So that's reasonable. But if the red devil was to go around chasing my flag-covered Cichlid, which is a fish that causes no problems, that definitely would be a bully. Same thing with these peacock bass. These peacock bass, they're not aggressive fish. If this red devil was to go around just non-stop harassing them, he would be considered a bully. So if you have a fish that's just unnecessarily aggressive, that's attacking fish without reasonable cause, then I definitely would get rid of that fish. I would give him a few chances. Maybe you could put him in times out, separate him for a little while, but I would give him 3 chances. Then after the 3rd chance, he won't be a part of my aquarium. Okay everyone, the last tip for lowering aggression inside your cichlid community is by lowering the amount of males that you have in your aquarium. A lot of times we aim for males because males, they get larger. Some males have some nice features, like this male red devil has a nice nuchal hump. Other thing is, these males a lot of times bring more problems compared to females. Because they get big, they can cause more damage. And it just seems like males have larger egos. They have just more reasons to be aggressive compared to females. Females I find to be less aggressive. A perfect example of this is my female jaguar cichlid. Jaguars are known to be terribly aggressive fish, but my female jaguar is very mild, and I believe it's because she's a female. I've had another female jaguar in the past, same thing, very mild, and I believe it's because females are just a little bit less aggressive compared to males. Now, the cool thing about American cichlids is that females really don't look too bad. With African cichlids, females, they don't have any color and they're very small. But with American cichlids, with New World cichlids, these females, they look very similar to males. Some of them even look better than males when it comes to color, and you still get awesome personalities. So that's the final tip. If you want to lower aggression in your cichlid aquarium, lower the amount of males that you have in your tank. So let's say you have community cichlids of, let's say, 5 or 6, try to keep 1 male, or at most 2 or 3. If you have multiple males, you will have multiple egos to deal with and multiple battles to face. Okay everyone, so as always, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. These fish are getting hungry right now. It is about feeding time, so they are getting a little bit hungry, especially this peacock bass, which is just very greedy. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. For those of you who keep Central and South American cichlids, New World cichlids, if you have any tips to lower aggression, let us know in the comment section below, because we all read these comments. We all want to know what each other are thinking, so let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up, and if you want more, make sure you subscribe. So let me just give you guys a quick briefing of what's going on all around me. So we have, look at that, nice yawn, he's hungry. Beneath him we have over there some feeders for my dadnoid because he's being picky. We have over here the plants in this tank growing nicely. I'm just going to allow those plants to get nice and tall. We have the sunfish over here. They're ready to eat. They're always ready to eat. But yeah, they're in there doing good. Over here, planet tank, we have the electric blue cara. He wants to eat. Everybody's ready to eat because it's feeding time. Down there, I have my breeding pair of Jack Dempsey's. I also have my dadnoid in this tank along with my tiger chevrons. You can see the Jack Dempsey's over there. Hopefully pretty soon I could get a breeding from them. Then we have the reef tank over here, doing awesome. But yeah, everyone, let me know what you guys think about this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.